Okay, so today we're starting chapter 5, and the first lesson is solving linear inequalities by adding and subtracting. So we're gonna first start with our basic skill in knowing how to identify our inequality symbol. So this is our greater than, less than. This would be less than or equal. This would be greater than. Or greater than or equal. So anytime you see this bar right here underneath, the inequality symbol represents equal, okay? So in stating our inequality symbols, you have to know which circle will go with which one. So, for example, if I say x is greater than 3, this represents any number that is greater than 3. So is 3 included? So when I'm on the number line, and it says identify all the, X represents all the numbers that are greater than 3. So I'm gonna plot an open circle at 3, and I need to shade all the numbers that represents X. So X is greater than 3. Where are my numbers that are greater than 3? To the left or to the right? Which you should be able to identify that 4 is greater than 3. So this tells me that I am going in the direction of increasing, which is I'm shading to the right of my circle, which open circle represents the 3 is not included in your solution set. Let's do another one. So if I give you X is less than or equal to 4, okay, you will draw the number line. I want to see the 4 in the middle. Show me a number to the right of it and to the left of it, so I know you know how to label your number line. You could even give me another number. You could even give me 5 numbers if you want. So this says X is less than or equal to 4. That means I'm going to have a closed circle, because the closed circle represents that the 4 is also included, because it says X is less than or equal to 4. So I need to include the 4, so my circle will be closed. Then it says, again, X is less than or equal to 4. So where my numbers are less than 4 located, which is to the left, the 3 and the 2. So I'm going to be shading to the left of the number line. So let's conclude. Anytime you have less than or greater will be an open circle. And then when you have less than or equal or greater than or equal will be a closed circle. All right, so now let's go and do a little bit more examples, so you will see how I will give you problems representing this lesson. All right, so here's your first example, okay? We all know how to solve an equation, which we learned first marking period. The only difference is we're gonna be solving exactly the same, but the only difference is I have an inequality symbol. So in my solution, I need to supply my graph that goes with the solution set. All right, so my first step is to isolate the X. So what's the opposite of adding the 2? Hopefully we remember. Represents I need to subtract 2 to both sides. 2 minus 2 gives you 0. You're left with X is greater or equal to 5 minus 2 is 3. So my solution set is X is greater or equal to 3. Now your next step is you're gonna go on the number line. You're gonna plot a circle. It will be a closed circle because it has the equal at 3. And it says X is greater or equal to 3. So I know 4 and 5 which are located on the right-hand side, I'll be shading to the right side. So now your solution is complete. You showed me your steps of how to isolate the x, you boxed in your solution set, and you gave me your graph. Second example, okay? So it says x minus a -3 is less than -6. Before you can even bring the 3 over, you need to apply the subtraction rule. So because I see a double negative, my first step is I need to change it, make it into a positive. All right, so now what I really have is x plus 3 is less than -6. So what's the opposite of adding? So I will subtract the 3 to both sides, right? X less than. Now I have -6 minus 3, which represents I have two negative numbers. That means I have to add it to get -9. So here is my solution. X is less than -9. Now I'm gonna go draw my number line, okay? So I'm gonna put the -9 in the middle. I'm gonna show numbers to the left of it and to the right of it. This represents an open circle. X is less than -9. We know numbers decrease going to the left. So that means I need to shade to the left side of my circle. Because remember, X represents all the numbers that are able to be. What are all the numbers in the solution set that will make the statement true? And it represents all the numbers to the left of -9. So this is your answer complete. So when I assign the classwork and the homework, I expect to see all of the steps of you isolating the X, boxing in the solution set, and giving me your number line. Okay, let's do 2 more to see if you got the hang of it. Okay, so now this one is written a little bit different, okay? In this instance, the X is on the right-hand side, okay, which is fine. We're gonna solve it, and then I'm gonna show you how to rewrite the solution. So to get X by itself, what's the opposite of subtracting a 4? We will add, okay? I get 9 is less than or equal to X, okay? This says 9 is less than or equal to X. But when I'm graphing it, I always have to have my variable on the left side. So if this says 9 is less than or equal to X, this represents, when I rewrite it, X is greater or equal to 9, okay? So when I give you an inequality in which it has the variable on the right-hand side, you're gonna solve it. But once you get the X by itself, you're gonna rewrite it so that the variable is on the left-hand side. Okay, because when we are graphing, is always in terms of X, not the number. Students will mess up their number line if they leave the variable on the right-hand side. Okay, so this says X is greater or equal to 9. I'm gonna put the 9 in the middle, a number to the right, a number to the left, okay? This says greater or equal, that tells me it will be a closed circle, which represents that the 9 is included, and X is greater than 9, that tells me I need to shade everything to the right-hand side of the number. So basically your solutions could be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, etc., whatever that's on the right-hand side. So the difference between equations and inequalities, an equation will have one solution. Inequality is a number set. Okay, it has many solutions as long as it satisfies the inequality. So here's the last one. So what is the step in order to get the X by itself? We will subtract 2 to both sides. I get -9 is greater than X. Okay, again, my variable is on the right-hand side. I need to have it on the left-hand side. So if this states -9 is greater than X, that represents X is less than -9. So now that I have my variable on the left-hand side, I'm able to go and draw my number line, okay? Put -9 in the middle, one number to the left, one number to the right, okay? open circle, because this tells me that 9 is not included, and I want all the numbers that will satisfy this. What does x is less than 9, so where are my numbers located that's less than? To the left.